All right, welcome everyone. This is an extended training session of Viper Trading Systems. Uh, Today's date is September 16th, 2015. It's a Wednesday morning. And as everyone knows, it's been to any webinars that we have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems. Everything that we say and do is for educational purpose only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instrument trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this little webinar, other webinars we have, our trading rooms, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to go ahead and get started. And this is being recorded, so if you do happen to have to leave or something like that, totally understandable. It's been a long morning. I understand that too. And we will have a webinar tonight to talk about the actual trades that were called in the room and why we took them. This session is going to talk more about the tools. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and show a chart. Now, I think everybody knows that we like to use a standard four-range chart. Okay, and there's a lot of trial people in here, so this is going to get a little basic for a few minutes, and then we'll try to get rolling. Okay, but the reason that we use a four-range chart is simply because you can see these little micro swings so easily if you just simply train your eye to see them. That's what my webinar is about tonight. Okay, but you still notice that you can't really trade this as easily because you don't have, good indicators on the chart. So we put these indicators on the chart so we can all see these trades, like our mid-band, different types of indicators. If you ever have a question and need a template, Linda can always send you one. Let me go over real quick one other thing. Anybody that's new to us, be sure and visit our homepage, vipertradingsystems.com. Okay, even if you're on trial, we've got some webinars on here, okay, that you're welcome to watch. Now, these are going to disappear closer to next weekend. You're here for 2 weeks, so this will disappear next week. But that's some really good webinars that'll show you how we take and call and take trades in the actual live room. But it's really important to have tools to take those trades too, and that's why we've developed tools such as the indicators with Viper Trading Systems and also the Object Trader. And I know a lot of people are really wanting to know a little bit more about Object Trader. Okay, now there's some chart legends and things like this. You can see exactly, what the buttons are and things like that. I'm not going to go into this in detail. We'll do it when we get into Object Trader. But these are some little chart legends that you can look at, and you can clearly see the types of trades Object Trader will take and how to do the sniper setups also. Okay, and we're going to go into that in great detail this morning. Okay, but these little charts will keep you up to date on exactly how the trade's taken. Okay, and we're going to go over this particular trade right here, for instance, a touch plus offset. A touch plus offset when it's inside would be like a minus offset. Okay, but you don't change it to minus, it's already in the algorithm. And I'll show you how to do that in just a few minutes. Okay, and most importantly, whether you're on trial or a member, be sure and go to our contact link. If you ever need to get a hold of us, we're not hard to get, okay? Playing hard to get was fun in school and all that, but you finally got married, so we're serious, okay? So here's the thing that we do here. We got our phone number right here. You can get a hold of me if I'm sitting in my office or anywhere in my home. I'll answer that phone, okay? Most times of the day, we say support hours are like this, but we realize that we've got people, overseas and things like that. I've taken calls at 10 o'clock at night. I don't normally, and sometimes I might even not do it because I do have to have family time also. But those are our phone numbers to get a hold of. I can be reached on Skype as Viper Trader. When you call me as Viper Trader, text me first. Don't just call on like a headset because I might not have my headset or I might be on a little computer or something like that. Always text me and say, hey, can we chat for a few minutes, and we'll put on headsets and talk or whatever. And then of course, email addresses right here. This is to get a hold of Linda. She's very important to Viper. A lot of you know her because obviously she takes care of your licensing and things like that. She's also my wife of 43 years, and she's very, very diligent in making sure that your scripts stay on and, you know, that you get things that you're supposed to get. Okay. As members, of course, our members have subscriber link here. All right. Now, this link is not for trial people because you have to have a password, username and password. But this goes into a lot more detail on training, like little books that we've written. You've got your links for the room for the whole week. You've got your links for your webinars for the whole week. Okay. You've also got a quick start instruction manual on how to trade Viper manually, a comprehensive trading manual to trade Viper manually. And then you've got a welcome page to Object Trader, which is a little outdated because we've changed Object Trader. So this little video is probably going to be attached right below this, and it's going to go over a lot of the trades on Object Trader. But anyway, and you've got all the webinars, of course. Okay. Same thing though, even as a member, if you're ever missing links or anything like that, they're right here. Okay. If you ever need me personally or Linda or Charles, just go to the contact link. Okay. This little logo right here is set here for a reason, and that is to give you a TeamViewer access. Okay. We don't use TeamViewer 10. We use TeamViewer 9. We paid for that version. So when you click this, this will actually let you run a little TeamViewer session. Okay, yes, I am recording this, Hardy. So this way you can get a hold of me at any time if you need TeamViewer help. I can usually solve about any Ninja problem. If you have problems importing scripts or anything like that, just let me know. Call this number right here. I'll answer the phone, or Linda will, and then we'll do a TeamViewer session. Okay, TeamViewer is a great tool that I can actually come into your computer, whether you live here or in Taiwan or, you know, North Africa or wherever. We can come in and help you. Okay, now that's just a little bit about us. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go off of this, and we'll go back to our chart. Now you notice that this chart is just pretty humdrum, right? Well, the indicators that we put on this chart, and I'm going to do them one at a time so you can actually see it. We'll go to the breakout. Hope y'all can see this really well. All right. I don't use the old guidance anymore. It's there if you want to use it, but I use the new background that you can actually control with the multiple time frames. Okay. So the only indicators that I use on here is swing minor. This is preset. That's just these little swings that it'll show an ellipse as it makes these little swings. Okay, that one's preset. We don't mess with that one. If you want to use one that you can play around with, this one you can even set your swing strength, your tick offset, everything. You can do whatever you want with that long-term one, but I don't even use that one myself because I use the a priori swings. All right, so this is the indicators that I use. Breakout identified swing minor. I don't use breakout math or money shade because I use Object Trader. I do use the stealth trend. I'm going to show these as we go. When you apply breakout identified swing, see it does those little ellipses. Okay. When you do your stealth trend, this particular one does this line. It's kind of broken, you know, when this line gets broken, and it gives you an idea of, you know, where the trade is actually trying to head, especially when you get these longer moves. See this nice move down here, right in through here? It gives you that nice stealth. All right. And let's see, then I like to use the swing high low. All right. The swing high low is just simply marks little dots on these swings. That's all it's really doing. Okay. As it makes these swings, it puts these little dots so you can see them at the bottom and the top. Okay. Then I like the toolbar. I don't like to use channels or markers, and you can even right click and set that as your default. And that simply puts a toolbar on the left so that we can draw our lines and our fibs and things like that. Okay. And then I don't use the trailing stops or the trailing stops guidance or even the trend, but you're welcome to use those. The trailing stops are just simply these little trails that are underneath these swings. That's like basically it's just going to give you, in choppy sideways, that's why I don't like them. when it's in a good trend like this, they're beautiful. See it right here? See, and it'll kind of tell you when to get out. But we would get out on this trade right here anyway because it breaks lightning. Okay. Now let's go down to the other indicators that we like to use. They're called Viper indicators down here. They're part of Object Trader. Scroll down the list. All right. Now you have an indicator in your package called VIP Dynamic Trend. That is a very important indicator right there. Okay. Be sure it's on your chart. Double click, apply. That's where you're going to see these mid bands, the phantoms. We're going to go into some of the ways to use the phantom and everything too today. And if this takes a little over an hour, I'll stick around. Anybody wants to leave, of course, they'll have the recording. Okay, very important indicator, VIP Dynamic Trend. Then you want to put the Viper a priori swing. Now this particular indicator right here, I like to set on a 12 range chart. If you first put this on a chart, you're going to notice that it usually defaults to like a minute. Okay, so if you have this at 1 minute, you're not going to get the swings I do. Okay, so be sure and change this to the range chart, 12 range, and I've got mine preset at 5, and I've got my dots and my text in navy and white. Now when I put that on my chart, it's going to simply show these larger swings on a 12 range chart. See this little white and the navy color right there? Those are based on a 12 range chart. You could actually put a 12 range chart up and you'll see the exact swings. This is actually a very good algorithm built in that looks for multiple time frames. Another very powerful tool in my opinion. Okay, that's the way I set that one. Now, like I said, you'll be able to get a template anytime you want, so you don't have to, worry about setting all these up, because I keep a template on the website, and Linda's, of course, has it also, and we'll send it out to anybody that needs a template. All right. Now, we've got a new indicator that members are going to get here more than likely today if I get everything done. This is called Viper Fibs. Now, Viper Fibs, you can choose your colors and things like that. Okay, Viper Fibs is just simply going to put Fibonacci's on your chart, and they're based on the swings that are, for instance, on your chart. Let's go over this just a little bit because this is a new indicator. All right. Notice how I've got a low swing here and I've got a high swing here. So this is perfectly where my fibs are. Now, if I move my chart, you'll notice that the fibs change. See how you've got a high here, low here, and look how that hit 50% perfectly. See that nice little move? We called that trade in the room. Well, let's see, that might not be one we call. Anyway, they're like this one. We call them all the time. But this fibs will move with your chart. For instance, if you just want to see the fibs on this little move right here from here to here, just move your chart over like that. You'll see the fib. Okay, as you move it, it goes to the different swings. Okay, see how that does the top here, the bottom here. There's your 50% right there. Okay, you'll be able to see those fibs, and then you can simply choose not to display them, and they're gone. Okay. Now you've got current fibs, which simply means that this is showing whatever you have currently on the chart. That's current fibs. Okay. Now, if I want to see the session fibs, I just simply go to session instead. And this is the entire session of the night. See, this is the 16th right here. And this was your low right here. This was your high right here. And see, they're kind of oscillating in this range, right? Okay. So you can move this fib. Now, this particular fib isn't going to change because obviously it's the session fib until we break these. Okay, so be sure and set it most of the time on current fibs because that's going to be your particular swings that are on the chart. And these fibs will automatically adjust. Okay, I think you'll like this tool. I'm already using it. I'm not using it in the room as much yet because, I don't think it's really fair since, most of you don't have it yet, but this will go out. Okay, So let's go back to our little indicator list right here. I'm going to take these trailing stops off because I do not use those myself. All right, and I'm going to get the fibs to where they don't show just real quick. Let's see. I'll probably have to go up here to not display. All right, let's go back down the list. Now I love Lightning 1, 2, and 3. Now Lightning 1, 2, and 3 are simply your minor, your little bit less minor, and your larger swings. And they simply work on hotkeys. I get a lot of questions on this all the time. All right, if you want to use like Lightning 1, for instance, it's really set on a 1 swing strength. That just means that if that bar moves up and another bar moves down and it moves up again, it's going to draw those little swings. That's real powerful for being able to stay in a trade. I love this little indicator, but you also don't have to use it if you can already see them, because this is a tool to help you trade and make money every day. But if you can see the swings, you don't need it. And I think you can clearly see that we can see the swings. You know, once we draw them, you'll see that they're exactly where we say they are. All right. Now this particular one works on the Alt hotkey. Okay. The next one, which is Lightning 2, is a 2 swing strength, a little stronger, and it works on a Shift key. Now the way you activate these, I'm going to go ahead and close this out real quick. We'll apply it first and close it out. All right. And the way this works here, let's say you wanted to see your lightning from here to here, you know, for instance, okay? It's going to go all the way to here because it goes to the end of the chart. All right, let's just draw it from here. That's yellow. I don't like yellow. Let me do something real quick. We'll just make this a little darker. We'll go back a little bit. All right, see how that swing thrust, retrace thrust, that is Lightning 2. Okay, now it hasn't drawn this one yet because it has not had enough of a pullback to draw a swing that large. Now with Lightning 1, you would draw that little swing there, I do believe. Let me see here. Yeah, there you go. So you got a high here, a low here, high here, a low here, and then it's not even drawn now because this is going off the map. Now this is just in sim mode, so you know this is not what's happening on the charts. Okay, Lightning 1, Lightning 2, and of course Lightning 3 is going to be a lot larger. And when I teach in the webinars, you're going to notice that these little swings are extremely important. You know, for instance, if this is going to come down and then pop back up, it's going to make, see how that popped that lightning there? That's because it knows that it's pulling down enough to make a swing. And now it's going to probably draw somewhere in through here and should bounce again. And it could go as low as about right through here and then bounce again. But between those two lines, it should bounce. Let's see, Gary, my 1, 2, 3 are the same color. Can you kindly show me how to change color? Absolutely. That's what this webinar is for today. All right, if you go to Lightning 2, Carl, you'll notice that you've got blue and gold here. You just change those colors. Now on Lightning 1 and 2, I don't show the numbers. Okay, notice that these are transparent. Okay, you can turn those on if you want to. I've got some people that do that. But I leave mine transparent because I don't want to see the numbers on those small swings. I'd have numbers here, 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 and here. You know, that's too many numbers to me. I like the larger numbers so I can really see what's going on. Okay, but to change those colors, you just simply go to change them. Navy and white is what this one is. Blue and gold is that one. And Lightning 3, where did you go? Whoops, down the list. Lightning 3 I've got set for dark green and purple. You can change those to anything you want. You know, for instance, if Lightning 2, that gold you don't like, you know, and that's your downtrend color, use like a derivative of red, you know, something like that, you know, like, who knows, say crimson or something like that. That'll actually draw the downward swings in the red and the upward ones in the blue. Okay. All right, so that's the 3 indicators called Lightning. This one uses the control key This one uses the Shift key, and this one uses the Alt key. And they're real simple to use. All you have to do is draw at the swings. If I want to see the swings on a Lightning 2, I just simply hold Shift down, left click, click my little swing, see if I'm getting it. Let's draw it from up here. There we go. All right, see that red's a little hard to see now. All right, but see the little Lightning swings? That's my Lightning 2. If I wanted to see larger swings like my Lightning 3, that's your control key. And it's going to draw them. Let's see if we can draw them. Now see, there's your Lightning 3. Now this one's not as important. This is just kind of telling you where the overall trend is. Okay? But even on this one, from the session today, you notice you have a low, you have a high, you have a higher low, you have the same high. It did go a little higher here, but Lightning 3 didn't draw it. A low again, same, high again, same, low again, same, and then a higher high, which it hadn't drawn yet. But you're still in an uptrend. You know, and that's what you mainly want to look at, of course, is, you know, more to the uptrend side on that. Okay, so that's the way you use Lightning. Now, you can't just delete them with these keys here, you know, with this delete feature on your drawing tools, because it's not a drawing tool. You have to actually hold the control key down, click on a swing, and it'll get rid of it. If you want to get rid of Lightning 2, hold the Shift key down, and it'll get rid of it. It's that easy. Okay, and of course, Lightning 1 would be the Alt key. All right, but you can see them anytime you want. The beauty of the Lightning indicator is that you can put it on the chart anytime you desire. You know, there's a lot of zigzag indicators out there, but my gosh, by the time you see them all over your chart, you can't see what's going on. Yeah, then you just save your color as default, Jim. Absolutely. Let me show that. Yeah, if you like different colors, absolutely go for it. If I want dark green and purple, for instance, on Lightning 3, I just right click and set that as my default. Or I can just simply save a template with it. That'll also remember it. Okay. Now let's go on to the other indicators, because it gets a little more interesting on your chart here pretty quick. All right, Viper background. Don't use the Pro background here. This is a helping indicator right here. This one will only draw on whatever chart you're using. The Viper Pro background MTF means multiple time frames. Okay. Notice when you put it on, it defaults to 1 minute. You just simply click here, change this to 4 range, like that, and then you can right click and set it as your default also. Okay. If you want it on a 6 range, absolutely go for it. 5 range, whatever you want. What you see in the trading room, though, is going to be consistent. Every single day we open that room. All right. Then you have a Pro bar, but don't use this one. Use the multiple time frame. Double click, choose your colors that you want, set your range bar to 4, like so. All right. And I like my intensity at 255 myself. Okay. It gives you a little stronger bar. That's as high as you can go, by the way. See where it says 0 to 255, and set that as your default. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put those on just so you can see. And I'm going to change this back to silver again real quick so you can see it better. Just did that a minute ago so we can see that lightning. Okay, that's a normal Viper chart right there, minus those fibs. All right, just like that. Now, if you want these changed colors too, you can change those. Oh, you haven't missed much, David, but I'm recording it, so you know I'm going over it in great detail, so everybody will, you know, be able to understand and get it. I don't personally like these red colored ellipses here, so all you have to do is go into your indicator, identified swing minor, and change it. I use white on mine, like that, and then right click and set it as your default. Then your little ellipses will be white. Okay. Where on the chart is the Viper Pro bar? The Pro bar is this one right here. This is actually the Pro bar MTF, which actually goes by the size of chart that you set it on. Let me get rid of this fibs real quick, because you notice fibs automatically, when I reset this, keep coming on. I'm going to take them off for a minute because we'll put it in our template, but I don't want it to keep coming up. All right, Don, on your question, on the ProBar MTF, you're actually able to choose whatever size that you want here, and on your background the same way. Let me show you how powerful this is also. Let's say that you wanted to see like a 4 background, because we use a 4 background, but you wanted to use a larger bar. Let's set this for like a 8 range. This is still going to print the exact background on even a larger bar. See how that's green and then the sideways and then the green again? That's actually looking still at a 4 range background instead of an 8 range, which I changed my chart to. Now, I don't like larger bars like this myself. I like the 4 range because you can't see the lightning on this like you can on a 4 range. All right, but the beauty of these indicators is that you can set them to your chart, even the bar colors the same way. Okay, the bar colors will do exactly the same. If I put this on an 8 range and leave the bar colors set on 4, they're going to still draw in the perfect colors that they are on this chart right now. Okay, let's go back to our indicators and put our last ones on. Viper Pro guidance lines, don't put that one on also, because it basically draws something very similar to this dynamic trend. Okay, but this dynamic trend is part of your package right here. So this is a really good indicator. All right, and then I just simply use time regions after that. Now, time regions is one of my favorite tools up here because I use this thing every day. You can see it on my charts. You just simply want to set it for the day of the week, and you want to set the time. I won't go through all of them, of course, but like I trade oil at 7:59 Central Time, so I just simply set that at 7:59, and then I set this at 8:31 and 8:32 and so on. I won't go through all of those, but you get the drift. And then right click, 08:31. Always put the colon in between it. And you can right click and set that as your default. Now, what I personally do is I start out with oil in the morning and I set all my high energy times from when I get them in my email, like you do, except I get them a little earlier. But like, for instance, equities, you had a 5:36. Well, this is actually 7:36 my time, so I would set that high energy time. I set the 7:04, which is 9:04 my time, and I set the 10:20, which is this 8:20 time right here. That's my high energy times. Okay, now oil inventory today, you noticed that when oil traded, naturally you've got your 931 and 932 Band-Aid. This is, by the way, some of the terminology that we use in the room, Band-Aid, okay, that's this little indicator that's going to show up on your chart. Let me see if I've got, did we set one up? Bear with me a second. 7:59, 8:31. So we just set up 2 of them. Those should show up though. 7:59, 8:31, that would be 9:16, 7:59. Should be right in through here. Not sure why that's not showing up. It may be this sim data that I've got. See what I've got my data set on. Yeah, oh, instrument setting, that's why. When you set up a template, you always want to use this 24/7 also. Well, Jeff, on your question, I edit my time regions every day because I like to do double time regions. Now, in your package, you've got one called the VIP5 Band-Aid, and it'll automatically draw it. I don't think I've even got the VIP5 on here. Let me look. If I do, I'll show you that one. Yeah, I don't have the VIP5 Band-Aid. If you got a second, I'll put it on if you want to see it. Bear with me 1 second. I'll put that one on. Got to import scripts real quick. Let's see here. Where are you at, Viper? Pro Ultimate 2X. There it is. All right, let me do that. And I'll do a little compiling, and we'll have that indicator. And like I say, personally, I like to use the Viper time regions because time regions lets me put 2 on the chart at one time. Now, if you use the VIP5 Band-Aid, let me show it to you. Right here. All right. Now, this one, you just set it default, and you just simply click OK. I'm going to get rid of the time regions for a second. All right. This one's more automatic. Okay. You'll notice that it sets up a little window over here. All right. And this is your different times. Now, I've been noticing lately, though, for some reason, unless you use this every day, you don't get your times on here as easily. I don't know if anybody else has been running into that, but your times would normally be over here, and you just simply click them, you know, to set them, and it'll turn cyan. We don't have that. Let's see, HE events, news events, and you just set it for like news events and things like that. It did not fill in today, Hardy. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Rich's, you know, Bandito. See, that's where we got the name Band-Aid, because he named his Band-Aid. But if they don't print, then you can't get the high energy times. So I don't personally use this one because I like to use where I can put them on the chart. It takes me like 3 minutes to put a template on. And Jeff, on your question, if you think about it, all you have to do is real quickly, let me just show you how I do it in the morning. Let's just put this one, we'll take off Band-Aid. We'll bring it over here to regions. And all you really have to do in the morning is set one chart up. See, what I do is I set up oil. I set it up for the entire day. See, I like 2 regions at the open of the equities. And then we had a high energy time. I won't go a lot further on this, but I'll show you how to do it. Set that one at like 9:04. That was our high energy time, remember? And of course we had oil inventory. This isn't oil, so we wouldn't set it on this one. And then you just simply click OK, right click, save that template as your Viper Pro Ultimate, right? And then you load it on all your equities. TF is already loaded. You'd load it on YM, NQ, and oil, but you'd add 1 time to oil, which would be your 7:59 time. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, Chris, what's going on in that. I'll check with Rich, but Chris said the same thing. It's not printing today. And see, that particular Band-Aid goes through a server that is actually Rich's own personal one. And I am not sure why occasionally it doesn't print, but that's one of the reasons I kind of quit using it too, because I need these high energy times because I see them on my chart and I want to trade them. My Viper time regions, of course, are in my time. So your time is always going to be in your time. Okay. You know, I don't want this to print at 5:59 Pacific because my clock on my computer is set on Central Time. We send out the emails the night before, Kenneth, I do. What I do is I get a little deal from Rich every night and from Charles. This little deal right here, okay? And I get half of it at first, and then he sends me the other half, so I copy and paste them. So I keep 2 of them on each chart. So this goes out at about 10 o'clock at night, and this is the high energy times on all equities and bonds and you name it. We only trade this in the room and this. So that's the only high energy times you need. Okay, if you're trading with us, of course. If you're trading overnight yourself or even gold or something like that, there's your high energy times. You go past 6:30 in the morning Pacific and it goes to this second set. We always send them out as first set, second set. One goes out about 4 o'clock in the morning. And the reason it goes out at 4 o'clock in the morning is because I don't get it till about, 10:30 my time. Yeah, if you ever don't get the first one or something, this may be something that we go ahead and start posting I may even start doing this deal and just put it on the website. I'll just see how much trouble it gets into. Okay. All right, let's go on. Now, of course, see, we've got a beautiful chart now, right? And it's totally tradable. I didn't set my MTFs and all that. Let's see here. Yeah, 1 minute. Let's go ahead and turn it on to 12 again. See, I didn't save that template yet. Lightning 3 is okay. Bar is okay. And we need our background is 4. And our MTF. I want to show you something else you can do with this too. This has got not only a dot, but it's got a line if you want to use it. Okay, on the MTF script, this Viper a priori swing MTF, this will print these navy blue and white, but you can also put a display which will put a line if you want it to. You just simply set it for a color. Okay, your high display, you'd set it for a color also. I don't personally use this because it clutters up the charts in my opinion, but if you like it, that's fine too. See these little dots? That shows those swings, doesn't it? That's your a priori swings on MTF. And a lot of people like this because they have a line drawn on their chart and they can see right where to get in the trade. I just draw lines in the room and use Sniper. Okay, but you could use this part of it too, and you just simply turn those on. And then of course you would right click and save your template again. Okay, so that's the indicators in a nutshell. That's the ones I personally use on my charts right there. And I'm the only one that shows my charts in the room, so that's the charts everybody trades off of. And that's the way Charles sets his up. And Rich uses a little different chart. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn that off. I don't use those displays myself. Anytime you don't want a color display, just do it transparent. Like that. Right click and set it as your default if you want to. And that's that easy to set up a chart. Now, let's go over just real quick and then we're going to get really going on this. Let me set my Lightning 3 up real quick. See, it's in transparent right now. If you ever notice that you're not getting something on your chart, all you got to do is just check and make sure you've got everything set right. I like to use green on my top one. A dark green's fine. And on my bottom one, I like to use yellow. Right click, set it as my default. You can also set the text on this too. Also, see how this is saying that it's only 256 bars back? Well, if you're looking at a chart that's got over 256 bars, you're going to see numbers all over the place. You can change this to infinite. The only one I changed to infinite is the Lightning 3. Lightning 2 and 1 you don't really want to. And you can right click and set that as your default. And then it'll put those numbers right where it needs to all over the entire chart. See there? Even if you go backwards. Okay? Because that's a lot more than 256 bars back. All right, any questions so far? This went a little bit deeper on just the indicators, but I think it was pretty important to go over them. All right, and just remember that you can always get a template. If you're a member, you can get it right off our website. Okay, vipertradingsystems.com, and go to the subscriber link, log in, and the template is always right down here. Template and workspace that we use in the room. Okay, just simply click on here. It says, do you want to save it? And you save it as, put it on your desktop, and then you simply drag the template into your doc folder. Templates are XML files and they always go into your doc folder. Okay, let me just go over that real quick too. We'll just take a second on that. Your doc folder on NinjaTrader is extremely important. Bear with me a second, I'm going to get to it. All right, should be able to see my doc folder right here. Okay, when you go to your doc folder, you just go to your start menu and you simply go to your documents folder. NinjaTrader 7 is this folder right here. You double click it. All right. And if you want a template to work on your chart that somebody else has given you, you just simply go to templates, chart, and then you drop it in here. That's all there is to it. See, like if I had a template and I wanted to drop in here like an XML file, I just simply drag it and drop it in here, and then that'll show up on my chart. So this is the path. You'll notice where it says Documents, NinjaTrader 7, Templates, Chart, and then you drop in the folder. Workspaces is the same way. If you've got a friend that's got a workspace you like, just back it up one, go to Workspaces right here, and drop it in. That's all there is to it. Okay, those are XML files. They don't import into NinjaTrader like your scripts do. I think everybody knows how you import scripts, right? File, Utilities, Import NinjaScript. Whenever we send you new scripts, you just simply go to File, Utilities, Import NinjaScript, and put it in your NinjaTrader, then restart Ninja. That's it. Okay, now let's go to the meat of the webinar. We're going to talk about ObjectTrader. And remember, before I get out of this, that there is some training on ObjectTrader. There's an entire page built for ObjectTrader alone on here. You just simply go here, training page for Viper Pro and ObjectTrader XT, and here's some videos and everything. Okay, that's for subscribers. All right, let's go to chart here. One thing I want to go over real quick. If you ever have trouble and don't see a strategy, when you right click and that's not black like that, if it's grayed out, you've either not got your data feed on. See, I've got my data feed on Simulator right now. All right, if I don't have that on, let's say that I disconnect that. All right, you're going to notice that ObjectTrader, you can't get it. It's grayed out. Okay, if you have a live account with Ninja through a broker, sometimes they give a dummied down version, so to speak, and you don't get strategies. One way to tell this, if you go to Tools, Edit NinjaScript, and it doesn't show indicators and strategies here, it won't even show this Edit NinjaScript if you've got a dummied down version, those broker versions. And if you don't have that, you won't have strategies. Okay. If I had a license, for instance, with a broker that was giving me a free Ninja instead of me paying for Ninja, you might not be able to edit indicators and strategies and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I get this question a lot, why is my strategy grayed out? Well, first off, you have to put the data feed on, okay, which we just did, and now strategies is no longer grayed out. Okay, you'll also notice if you've got a what I call a dummied down version of Ninja, you won't have this little icon here called Chart Trader. It'll be grayed out. Now, if you've got that kind of account, I'd highly recommend changing to a broker that offers a full version, because if you don't trade ObjectTrader, you at least need to trade Chart Trader. Okay, because some of these calls that are made, they're quick, and we want to get in them as fast as we can, and have our targets and things like that already set. Okay, and also make sure that if you want your live account on a chart, you want to make sure that Global Sim is turned off. Okay, Global Sim's on right now because I'm doing this in sim mode only on a different monitor. Okay, this is not on my trading computer. This is on my development computer. Okay, so always make sure that's turned off if you want to trade your live account, because when you drop down your drop down for your live account, it won't be there. Okay, it'll just be in sim mode only. I get asked that a lot. Now, like I said, this is not my trading computer, so I don't have live accounts on this one or anything. Well, it does, obviously, if we go into our data feed, but right now we're in sim. So if I go to strategies, for instance, right now, double click, you'll notice that I've just strictly got sim. Okay, if I even drop this down, it's not going to have anything but sim. Okay, because your Global Sim is on, or this particular computer is not set up for it, okay? So somebody was asking this morning about TF. If you're going to trade TF, you've got to change this to day, okay? Now that won't remember day unless you then save your workspace, okay? So for instance, if I want to trade this in day, and you can change all of them today because we're day traders basically, right? But you can set this as a template if you want on Object Trader. Object Trader's got a lot of parameters in it, by the way. Let me just go through some of them. The newest version of Object Trader now has the ability to display your account name, which it has had for a while. But when it's a non-SIM account, you can choose your background of Object Trader. Okay, now this is a SIM account, so we're only going to be able to show gray because I'm on my development computer. I'm not hooked to my AMP or Ninja or anybody. But this particular one here, you just simply set for whatever color you want it to be. Okay, and if you're trading your live account, it's going to show that color. That's really important because, you know, you might be trading in SIM and think you're up $1,000 and then all of a sudden you're not up anything because you're trading in SIM. So when you're in a non-SIM account, it will show the background will be this color right here. Okay. You can also choose your active Object Trader colors too. Some people can't see green very well. Charles is one of those. I mean, he cannot see greens very well at all, and some shades of blue. He's colorblind. So he changes this to like a darker, and you can do that and just simply set it for, you know, like a navy even or whatever you want. You can even change the opacity of it where it's real dark, and then right click and set it as your default if you want. Okay. You can even save certain templates if you want to. You know, you can set anything in here that you want and then set up a template for it. Let's say, for instance, on Russell, let's just go with Russell for a minute. All right, let's say with Russell, I decide that I want to go with like 4 contracts up front, or let's say 3. Let's go with our 3 contracts. So I could simply set this for 3. All right. I could then set my targets where I want them. Maybe I want my first target at like 8, my second target at, who knows, like 14, and then maybe 20 on that next one. This is going to automatically remember that when I start Object Trader. Okay. I can either right click and set that as my default, or I can go down here and save a template. Now I'll show you how to save a template. You just simply go to the save button right here. Little drop down drops down. It says, what do you want to save? Well, I want to call this one TF. All right, that will then save this particular template as TF. Maybe I want to change colors or anything I want to do. My TF be a little different. I can do that. And then I just simply load that template. If you save your workspace, it should pull up your template to begin with. Okay, now once I save this template right here, which I did, and I click OK, Object Trader will load with that 8, 14, and 20. Okay, notice that it normally defaults at 5, 10, 15, and 20, but you can change that and it'll stay that way. All right, now if I happen to reload Object Trader without a template, see, it's still going to remember this because it knows that I'm on my template right now. Okay, but I can go back to my regular settings by simply going to my templates here. And by the way, if you ever see this grayed out like this, I get asked this all the time. You got to turn this to false, apply, this all turns black again. Okay, that way you can work on it. All right, so let's say that I don't want to load that particular template right now. I don't have to. I can even remove that template if I want to by simply clicking TF right here, and it's gone. Okay, now if I happen to reload Object Trader, let me just go ahead and reload it. Well, let's see, that went to my 8, 14, and 20. Bear with me just one second. I think it's because I've got it still set like this, but let's remove it and put it back on and it should be back to factory settings. Yeah, 5, 10, 15, and 20. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, If you want to trade more than one contract all the time, then of course you can just simply make those templates or just default your object trader the way you want it. Okay. If you like to trade at least two, then set this to always be at two, and it'll do in multiples of two. Let's say, for instance, if I wanted to just fire a market order, I just hit market, that's two contracts. If I hit it again, that's going to be a total of 4 contracts. See there? Because it'll do in multiples. If I happen to do 4 here and hit buy and buy, I'd be an 8. Okay, so you got to be careful, of course, with this, because it's going to do however many contracts you set it for. That's your setting. Notice how quickly you'll be down too. Look at that. That's $500. Okay. Now let's go over some of the features of Object Trader right now. We're going to transition into a little bit different here. Don't pay attention to the $500. We'll get that back. Let's see, Gary, can you show how to change the length of our targets? Absolutely. Let me go into strategy. Remember, if it's grayed out, you got to change it to false, apply. Then you can change anything you want. All right. We've added a new feature on Object Trader where you can put your text on the right or the left on your targets. I defaulted on the right. If you set it on the left, it's going to put your prices. I've got mine right now set at 40% of the chart, which actually means that about right through here, that's going to actually put my prices on the left. I'll show you how that works. If I click buy, see how my price is over here? Okay. That's on my left. And you notice that that's 40% of my chart. Okay, if I want to change that, let's go ahead and close it. If I want to change that, I simply go to Object Trader again, change it to disabled, right? And I go back up here and I put this on the right. And if you want your prices like all the way over here instead, you just simply set this for like 70%. You know, whatever you want it, it'll put it where you want it. And then that line will end up all the way over 70% of whatever chart's showing on the screen. I'll show you what that'll look like. We'll click buy again and notice the line's way over here, but the prices are way over here. Okay. So you can utilize this any way you want to. If you like the prices on the left, just change it to the left. If you like your target lines to be longer, you can put it on 70% if you want to. Okay, did you get that, Carl? Okay. So any of these parameters that are in Object Trader. Oh, one thing I want to show you too, don't ever turn off Object Trader. Let's say that I had 4 contracts on. All right, and I'm thinking, you know what, I should be fine, but all of a sudden I just go ahead and turn off my strategy. Let's just pretend I just think, well, I just turn it off here. Well, I didn't turn that off as far as the broker's concerned. I've still got 4 contracts on. See what I mean? We're in SIM, so we're not worried. But notice that that's still on there. Object Trader is not on the chart, so why didn't it kill my trade? All we did is turned off the strategy. We didn't want it to take away the trades if something just glitched. Now you can in Object Trader, and if you ever end up in a situation like this, just simply quickly go right click and flatten or close. Flatten everything would be if you had more positions on. Close would be simply if you wanted to close that one. Okay, now Object Trader is dead. Okay. Now, Object Trader has another feature on it I want to show you here. Let me see if I can find where it's at. Disable on order rejection. This is for times, let's say, for instance, you had a $750 account and you were trading, I don't know, ES, for instance, okay? And all of a sudden you got below $500 and you try to take another trade. Well, your broker's going to reject it. Object Trader will just put out a bunch of alerts, and you could end up not stopping the strategy. Now this disable on order rejection means that that will disable the strategy and should also flatten your position. Okay, now we left that at false mainly because if you actually had a glitch on a computer where it just glitches and then comes right back on, you don't want to lose your trade. So I personally leave mine set on that one at false. But that is a little safeguard in there if you are really close, like on margin or anything like that, and a broker was to reject. Okay, I leave mine on false like that. Okay, now any of these parameters you can clearly see, you can change, do anything you want, and they're pretty self-explanatory. You know, if you go down here, for instance, you can see that's my quantity. Chart traders enabled all the time. Start with long enabled, start with short enabled. You can change those to false if you want to. Object Trader won't take a trade without you though, because I've made sure that things like long enabled, short enabled don't work unless you actually have, you know, the region set up or something like that. Okay, any questions on the parameters so far? Because I just recommend on this, rather than really extending this webinar for 5 hours, would be just to look at each and every parameter and see what it does. Okay, you've even got a time feature. We'll go over that in just a few minutes. All right, let's go ahead and go over now some of the things that Object Trader will do. All right. Now, Object Trader has several parts of its panel right here. Okay, this is always turned to true on your Object Trader enabled. If you don't want Object Trader to be enabled, just turn that to false, and it, no matter what you do here, it won't fire. Now, I think the market order will still. See, you can still do the market order if you want. That just disables the Object Trader part of it, the auto trade type. Okay, but I leave mine enabled all the time. All right, now you'll notice when this defaults, when you first put it on a chart, it always defaults at region. Now, a region is just simply a little box. I'll draw one first. Everybody knows what a box looks like. Okay, but the way you put this on your chart, and I get asked this a lot also, is I can't get it to fire my trade or something like that. Well, the reason is because you're not enabling Object Trader. Okay, there is an enable button for Object Trader to actually put it on the chart to begin with, and you just simply click insert. All right, whatever this is on here on either region or ray or time trade, this will put up a little region, ray, or time trade. Now the bar close doesn't need insert, and neither does sniper. Okay, and I'm gonna go through those individually. The region, the ray, and the time trade though, you have to hit insert. Now if you want to take it away, just hit insert again. Okay, you can even be active by hitting enter, and now this is an active region now, and that means that long above, short below, close bar, that will fire a trade. Okay, now if it closes on the line, unfortunately it's going to wait for that next bar. There's no way around that because that didn't close above that box. Now when I run into a situation like that, I usually just hit market if I want the trade, that is. Okay, but that's your region type trade right there. To make that region not active, just hit enter. It won't be active at all. Okay, enter will make it go gray, and that's a shadow region, and it will not take a trade. Now when it's active and you got one of these turned on, it will take the trade. If you enabled long and short, it's going to go long here, short here. See there, just fired. Okay, so always be aware, and especially when you're using your live account, Object Trader is only going to do what you tell it to do. And that is if you wanted to go long out of a region, see, we just got us a target, 5 ticks. Not that I'd go for 5 ticks, but you can. Okay, everybody see how the region works? You can't move it. Notice that it's locked. Okay, but you can move it if you just simply hit enter, click on it, and move it. Okay, like let's say, for instance, that I wanted to take a short if it broke this little, like this little resist or support area right here. I can just simply set that like that, go for a couple of contracts. Maybe I want to just try to get down here or here. and then take my trade off. That's a counter trend trade, but Object Trader will take it. Let's see, so if you put a region on the chart, it knows itself where to be placed. No, David, on your question, it knows at the moment you set the shadow box, and that's a very good question too, by the way. When you first click a region, it's going to just go in the prices that you're currently at. And I've got my region set to draw like a 8-tick region, I believe. 65.40 to 66.30, 9 ticks. It's probably 8 ticks, yeah. 8-tick region, and it'll just draw it like that. Now, if I hit insert, if the prices change, let's say I'll close this out, no big deal, right? If I hit insert again, it's going to draw it a little different, see, because it's looking for just this little area right here. But the whole idea of the region is that you want to be able to move it where you want to take the trade. Let's say, for instance, I thought, if it breaks here, you know, could I short that? Well, sure you could. You just turn it on and quickly short it. I can even do a touch plus like 3, and when that hits 3 ticks under that region and doesn't tick back up, it'll fire a short. Now, I'm not saying this is a good trade. I'm just showing you how to use the tool. This would be a short outside. See there, it just fired. Okay. And all I did is I told it short outside touch plus 3, and that just waited for 3 ticks under that box. Okay. Now I can instantly turn this region off by hitting insert, and it won't do anything again. I could have just hit enter and disabled it either way. Okay, this is a powerful tool. I mean, you can utilize it any way you want. Let me go back to this little chart here real quick. I'm going to show you how that particular box works. Let's see here. Welcome to Object Trader Chart Legend. That's not it. Trade types for Object Trader, that's it. All right, this is the type of region trades that Object Trader will take. All right, just pretend these are regions on your chart that have prices in them. All right, if you have long above top with or without an offset, and an offset just simply means it'll fire above it if it's outside, and it'll fire below it if it's outside. What if you wanted to trade inside a region? Inside a region, inside a region. Now you wouldn't trade a small one, but we get some sometimes that are 25 ticks. You just short the top by the bottom, short the top by the bottom. Okay, and by doing the button on Object Trader, that tells it which way it's going to go. I'm going to demonstrate all these different trades real quick, and I'll show you what they do. And the reason I put this on sim mode is because we want to manipulate the data so you can see it. I'm going to do region trades first. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Let's say, for instance, that you wanted to do a region down here. All right. And let's say if this got down on our phantom, that we wanted to go ahead and take a long trade at the bottom, long inside, touch plus 2, hit my enter button. Didn't quite get it in time. I'll change it to like a touch plus 4, should get it. We'll even go 5. All right, this is telling me that this should fire 5 ticks off the bottom of this little region right here. Now, like I said, that's not necessarily the trade we'd want, but unfortunately I didn't get my box set up. And I might not have still gotten it set up. Let me just turn it off. We'll go in like that. That'll still do an inside trade, by the way. It just means that if it goes 2 ticks inside the box, it should fire. There you go. All right. So we're long. So you can actually go long at the bottom of a box or long going back up through a box. So in other words, let's say that you had seen this trade in real time and pretend this was a support area. And instead of bouncing here, it just went on through it. Well, it wouldn't fire it until it went back through it again. How you activate the region box? Absolutely, Bongani, I will. The way you activate the region box is just simply the enter key. All right, let me go ahead and turn it off again. Go over this. We'll close out the trade. Hit insert will get rid of it, okay? Now, if I want to fire this region again, all right, let's say I want to fire a region. You don't even have to have these turned on yet. Okay, let's just turn on our region. You just hit insert. You always got to make sure you click inside the chart, hit insert. Okay, if I wanted to chase this trade, let's say I took out this little swing here and I want to do a touch outside +2, all I'd have to do is turn it on, and that will do a touch +2 to the upside because I've got the top of my region, which is this T, set for above. See how that says long outside? I could also go long inside if I wanted to. That'll fire it right here instead. Watch it. It should fire right about where my cursor's at. Really close. One more tick. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit so it'll fire. That's 3 ticks away right now. And by the way, it won't fire if, let's say for instance, you wanted to buy at the bottom of this region and it just blows through it. Object Trader won't fire. But if it hits the bottom of that region and hits your math, it will fire. Okay, see how that did that right there? It actually, basically that bar moved a little quicker, but it would have fired basically right at 1 tick away because it has to wait for 1 more tick. Okay, I can turn this on again and just simply go for another trade if I want to. See that? I just turned it on for outside, long enabled, touch +2, 2 more contracts. And watch it fire when it takes out 2 ticks above that box. See, Object Trader is designed so that you can do a touch trade, a touch plus, a close, or a close plus. Okay? Those are offsets. So when I say I want an outside offset out of Object Trader, then it's waiting for 2 ticks, and you'll see that change to 4 contracts. See there? 4 contracts. Because that went 2 ticks above that box. Okay? Now, what if this market, what if I said, okay, you know, this is a really good top. This may hit a double top. I can actually instantly change that trade back the opposite direction and even reverse it. See this reverse enabled? Short inside, short enabled, reverse. If that actually goes back inside that box, and I'm going to make it do it, it'll reverse this trade. And all it's got to do is go short inside, which is not outside, right? That means it would go 2 ticks inside this region. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that's a particular trade you'd take. I'm just saying that this is the way Object Trader's designed. And get rid of that crosshair. I hate crosshairs, really do. All right, if this goes 2 ticks back in the region, Object Trader will fire a reverse order short 2 contracts instead of 4. What if I wanted 4? I change it before it ever gets there. What if I wanted 6? I can change it that quickly before it fires the trade. And that should reverse 6 contracts. See there? Like I say, it's a very, very powerful tool. If a person knows how to use it and you're quick enough, you know, because sometimes markets move, obviously, right? You can use this thing all day long. I mean, I can even take any area that I want. If I see like a support area, you know, let's say, for instance, I saw this right here and they haven't tested it yet. Well, I could draw a line right across there, change my region, like so, go long, touch, and when it gets down there to that bottom, I'd be getting a nice short, obviously, but what if I wanted a long right there if it bounced off that little area right there? Well, I can actually just turn on Object Trader and it's ready to fire. You'll be surprised how amazingly accurate you can get your trades if you get to where you utilize this region, the Ray tool, and I'm going to show Ray in just a second, and then Sniper. Now notice that I've got short set here, but short is not enabled. It's not going to fire a short, even if it blows through the bottom. All right, if this comes down, I want to show you how this works. If this comes down within 2 ticks of that and reverses, see if it reversed right now, it would not fire the trade because you're not within 2 ticks. See there? I'm reversing it on purpose. But what if it comes within 2 ticks and then reverses? Show you what it'll do. And then you reverse it, and you'll see it fire the trade right there. See there? That was looking for a long inside, touch +2. What if it would have just gone through it? I'm going to show you what it'd do if it just gone through it. It wouldn't fire the trade. I'm going to turn on this short deal where it'll just take it out. And like I said, I have to do this in this mode so we can really show Object Trader how to utilize it. Okay, see if this goes through this without ticking back up to those 2 ticks, it'll never fire this long. Okay, but if I don't turn it off and it goes back up through it, it will fire it. Okay, it has to get within 2 ticks and tick back up, or go back up through 2 ticks, either way. See, as soon as that hits, there's 1. There's 2, and there you go. See how well that works? That's how you can utilize that region to make you a lot of money in trading. All right, I'll go ahead and turn it off. Does anybody have any questions on the region? We'll go ahead and go into the Ray. No questions on the region? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go into the Ray trade. Now, to get a Ray trade, you just simply go click down to Ray. All right, and then when you click Insert, it brings up a Ray. It's got 3 points like a line does. I just simply move it. Let's say I want to take a long trade out of this right here on a, let's just do a touch. Yeah, let's just do a close. All right, notice that I'm not at the line yet. Now I click enter, and that will fire that trade as soon as that closes above that line. And actually, if it closes under the line, since I've got both of these set, it will also fire it. See, there you go. You just got your trade. Okay. Now, the Ray trade also has an offset on it. Okay. That you can use any way you want. You can move it around. You know, if you happen to see a channel or something like that, that you see a bottom and a top and a bottom and a top, and you want to take a breakout or a breakdown, well, all you have to do, if you change that like that and then hit enter one more time, then your top long, bottom short. See how it matches the buttons there? Now this one would simply have to touch that line with a close. Same way with the long, it should just have to touch it with a close because I've got the offset set. Okay, and you can even, before it fires a trade, you can do anything you want with it. But be careful if you go through the price, because it will fire. Like if I go through like that and accidentally move it as that bar is closing, it'll fire the trade. Okay, this is active on a chart. When this is in the colors like it is right now, it's active. When it's not active, it's like that. It's gray. Enter. Just like on the region. Insert starts it. Enter activates it. Okay, so it's not going to fire a trade now, is it? Because I don't have it set. If I want to just use it as a Ray only, I just simply put the offset at 0. You can even use it like Sniper, although I'd recommend using Sniper if you're going to do this. You can do that. And of course, if it happens to take that little Ray out, and by the way, you can move it while it's actually even doing your prices. Now, I probably just messed up because, see, I closed right on the line. Instead, I want to close above the line, and that should fire the trade. Okay, you just got your long. And notice how it turns these buttons off. Now, be careful, because this is also set right now to do both ways. So you really want to make sure that you know which way you're wanting to go, because if this was to go back down and close below this line, it's going to fire 6 contracts short, and we're long 6, so that's what? Flat. If I had reverse on, it would actually reverse the trade. But with this, of course, it's just going to simply close me out. If that closes below there, even without hitting my stop, it should flatten it. See there? Flat. That's how you use the ray. Okay? Now let's go on to Time Trader real quick. Time Trade, what Time Trade is simply a region, but it's drawn at a particular time. Okay, now I don't personally use this feature of Object Trader, but I'm still going to show how to use it. And the reason I don't is because I draw my boxes with my Viper time regions, and then I just simply use Sniper or a region to fire the trade. But if you do want to use this feature, just simply go to your time zones and set them. September 16th. Let's say right now it's 11:20. Let's say we had a high energy time at 11:21. All right. And I want to go ahead and do this particular trade here. I can change my colors of my little region or whatever, and we'll turn it back on. And at 11:21, if I put this in time trade mode, this should draw a box at 11:21. Watch and see if it doesn't do that. It's got to wait for the close of the bar. It's 11:21 now, but it should have to wait for the close of the bar. And I can quickly, if it happens to set my little region up, I can simply turn on my region by clicking enter. There you go. Hit enter. If it goes long or short, I'll take it. Okay, let's just say that that was your time on a high energy time and you wanted to take a little break. And by the way, you can even reset it before it ever fires that quickly. Just simply turn it off by hitting enter, turn it back on, and there you go, you got your trade. You just got to be quick. You know, just learn to really think about what you're doing and turn your tools on, turn them off, and things like that, and they work great. So that's your time trade feature. It just simply draws a region, okay? And you can activate it. Notice that it drew at exactly 11:21 with the close of the bar. Okay, that's enough on time trade. Now coming to my favorite tool right here, bar close. I love this particular feature. Now when you turn it on bar close, these are going to automatically turn off because the minute you turn one of these on, if a bar closes, it's going to fire the trade. Watch. Whichever way it goes, it'll fire it. If this closes down, you're going to be in 3 contracts. There you go. All right. If I wanted to protect my trade, let's say for instance that I thought this was going to go places, but I want to get out of one if my bar closes back to the upside. Okay, let's just get our stop out of the way for a second. You'll notice that you'll go to 2 contracts pretty quick. See there, 2. And now I'm protected, right, with a little less contracts. But what if I wanted to say, well, you know what, if it goes up higher, I'm going to just stay with 1 because I know I've got a good downtrend, but I'm giving up some of it on a retracement, right? Well, I can just simply get out of another one like this. Okay. As soon as that closes, that'll fire 1 more contract off. It does whatever you tell it to do right here. 1 contract going to go away. There you go. You're down to 1. Okay. Now, if I wanted to add back, let's say that the trend hit, let's just go for here. Just go for right here, this little swing. Let's just say that that's where we want to get back in. I can just simply wait for it to get there, turn on my bar close again. That's mid-band. Let's just pretend this is a mid-band trade. Turn on my bar close, and if this goes down again, it'll add 3 contracts. Okay, notice that I'm down on my P&L because I let it retrace, but I'm still thinking that this is still short until it takes out that resistance. You know, maybe I got in at a chase trade and shouldn't have, but it's still staying with what I want it to do. As soon as that bar closes, you got 4 total contracts. What if all of a sudden you hit a resistance area and it just blows through it? Let's just do this. Let's just say that we don't want to keep this if it closes above here, and maybe you want to go ahead and fire a long. Well, just turn long bar close on with reverse, and it'll reverse 3 contracts. That's the bar close reverse feature. As soon as that bar closes, it should fire a reverse trade. There you go. Like I say, these are pretty cool tools. If you really utilize them and learn how to use them, they're very, very powerful. Okay, so now you see how to use the bar close reverse. Whenever you use bar close reverse, you just simply put it on bar close. These will all automatically go to long disabled, short disabled. That D on there stands for disabled. If it's E, that's enabled. Okay, now you can't fire a trade with an object type with reverse on. You have to wait for it to be fired first. Now I could do it market wise, okay, if I want to, but to do an object type, you can't do that. Okay, because an object type, let's just say that I wanted to do a region here and left on my reverse here, it won't fire the trade. Okay, that's long out, close, you will not get that trade. Because what it's doing, reverses on, and it doesn't know what you're really asking it to do. It says, hey, how can I reverse when I'm not in a trade? So it sits there and does nothing. Okay, if you want to fire this trade, be sure reverse is off. Watch it, I'll show you it won't fire. Not supposed to anyway. See there, it closed above it and it did not fire. Now if I had this turned off, and let's say for instance that I had that set for like touch plus, well, let's just go for like 7. It should still fire. That should be about 5, 6. See if it gets it. I may have missed it. I'm just trying to fire it even late by just changing my touch plus. Yeah, it did get it. See, that's 7 ticks above. So you can actually change this even, on the fly. Okay. Now, if I do want to use reverse, then what I want to do is make sure that I've got region or whatever. Let's say that I had a phantom trade right here and I wanted to reverse this trade if it happened to close back down inside phantom by, or say a touch plus maybe 4. I should get that. Well, probably missed it. Well, it's short bottom. Sorry, that won't do it anyway. It's got a touch plus 4 outside the bottom. So right now it's waiting for 4 ticks outside the bottom of this to fire that trade. 1, 2, 3, should be 4 and reverse. See there? How easy that works? Okay, let's go on. That's our bar close feature. Now my favorite new tool is Sniper. Now Sniper also does not let you have long enabled or short enabled on when you first fire it. The reason for that is because if you've got a horizontal line on this chart, it can take that trade, okay, if they're activated. Now the way this one works, if a bar is above a line, this line will be the bottom, and if it's above it, or pardon me, below it, it will be the top. Okay, and the way I've designed this is when you hit enter, all right, that's your bottom one and that's your top one, like a region. If I wanted to short this little line right here, say touch plus 2, that will short it because that's set for short outside, touch plus 2, which means 2 ticks out, short enabled, outside trade. Okay, that would short that right there. Now I'm not saying this is a good trade, I'm just showing you how it will fire the trade. 1 more tick, it should fire. Notice how it doesn't just fire at the line. It's beautiful. Because we've set it for touch plus 2. 1 more tick and it should fire. Why did the white circle just pop up? Well, the white circle, you're talking about this little circle right here. That's your fire key. Okay, that's really important because I want to show you what happens with that. If I move this line, notice that little dot doesn't move. Well, if I hit enter again, the dot moves up to my line, but now my price is below my line, so it turns green because that's my top line. If it's below it, it'll be the purple with this dot. If you move it though, you got to re-hit enter. Oh, this right here? Well, because we haven't had any kind of a swing yet. And it took out this swing right here. That's when it probably fired. Okay, everybody see that? Sniper is exactly like a region. You can use it as a single line. You know, let me go ahead and turn these off for just a second. We'll turn it to array for a second. I'll get rid of the lines. Sniper can be used as a single line. I just simply use a horizontal line on my Ninja chart. All right, notice that that won't fire a trade because I'm not in a sniper mode. I put it in sniper mode, short, outside, and then turn it on by hitting enter. And then that will do whatever trade I've got set here. Touch, +2, close, whatever I want it to do. It'll do it. Okay, before it fires, you can change any of this. Now, I'm not going to go over a lot on Sniper because obviously it's like a region, except you can use a line at a time. See, I'm using a single line right now. See there, it just fired. Okay. Now, if I use two lines on the chart, it's like a region. I just simply do a horizontal line, click enter, and you'll notice a green line and a purple line. This is looking for a long outside, but I can simply change that to short inside. And let's say that that was a resistance area and I want to fire a short there. Well, it's real easy. Just set it. Let's go ahead and bring it a little lower. Be sure and hit enter. When that gets within 2 ticks of that line and rolls over, it will fire a trade. Or if it blows through it and then comes back down through it, it will also fire the trade. Okay, this is like a little region right here. I'm just telling it short inside, short outside. Maybe I want to put this here now and hit enter. So now I'm boxed in, right? Like bracketing my trade in. Now, if this hits right here within 2 ticks and rolls like so, it'll fire the trade. There you go. All right. If it goes through it and you turn it back on, let's go ahead and get these out of the way. It will fire the trade again, okay, because I turned it back on. See, so I could get extra contracts that way. If it goes 2 ticks inside, it'll fire 4. There you go. Another really, really powerful tool is this Sniper. And like I say, you simply use it just like you do a region, or you use it like a line. Now, if you put multiple lines on the chart, it only knows certain ones of them, right, are below the price, like so. See, if I hit this, it's going to do these 2 lines right here. Okay. If I was to hit something like this, what color do you think those lines will be before I do it? You should have a purple line right here, right? Because you're above the price. See there? That's your line. This one's no longer active. If I put it here, that's green, and that uses that top button. If I put it under it, that uses the bottom button. Okay, and again, on that particular trade, and this is a little more complex part of it, but I think you'll find that it works quite well. Let me just bring this back over. Sniper line setups right here. This is the type of trades that Sniper will take. Take, for instance, that I'm just using a 2-tick offset. Okay, my top button, which would be the green line, and my bottom button, which would be the purple line. Okay, if I had long O set for touch +2, it would fire this trade 2 ticks above the line. If I had it set for touch +2 on the long inside, it would fire it 2 ticks inside, below the line, in other words. The top line, short inside, would be 2 ticks under and then 2 ticks above. See there? Now you go opposite when you go to the bottom of it. Long inside is inside the region, right? Or line. 2 ticks inside trade. 2 ticks outside trade. See, it would fire right there. Short inside on a bottom line would be short inside 2 ticks and then short outside 2 ticks. That's exactly the way that works, and it works perfectly. How do you get rid of which circle, Kenneth? You're talking about the little ellipses? That's your little a priori swings. Oh, the dot. Okay. The way you get rid of the dot, because this is not active right now, because see, we don't have anything turned on up here. But to get rid of those dots, you just simply click inside the chart and click delete, and it'll get rid of the dots, and those are no longer active lines. I would have loved to have had it where they would default back to their original color, but my programmer said that's almost impossible with NinjaTrader. He said it's probably possible, but it might make ObjectTrader even move possibly slower, and we don't want that. Okay, when you hit enter, wherever your line's at is going to determine what color it is. If I hit enter right now, I'm going to have a green and a purple one, see, with 2 dots. These don't even count. If I was to move this line up here and click enter again, my dot appears here and then here. These 2 lines don't count. Okay? It looks like as high as I could go. If I was to put this one here and then hit enter, where do you think the dots will go? Still where they are, because the price is below. But if I hit it here, then this is no longer here, right? Because there's evidently a price over this way. If you ever have a problem like that, just simply get rid of a line. You know, you can get rid of a line really quickly, right? Click remove, and then just make sure you're in your current prices, and you'll have it. So long disabled and short disabled need to be LE and SE for OT to work. Absolutely. The reason OT has that set that way is because you want to be able to control your trades. You know, if I don't have any of these turned on and this goes 2 ticks under this box here, it won't fire anything. Watch it. See, it should have already fired right about now. See there? But if I had this turned on with short enabled, then when that touches 2 ticks outside that line, it should fire. And it'll fire with exactly the number of contracts you have here. Even on your reverse. If you had 4 contracts on, but you only had 2 here for reverse, it's going to fire a reverse trade for 2 contracts. Okay. Now the next and last thing we'll talk about, and I think we'll go over some of this other at another time unless y'all want to stick around, but this part right down here I don't use, but it is there for P&L management. But I do want to go over how to use this little part right here. Okay, if you've got a few minutes, we'll do that. All right, so when you set, now this is really important on ObjectTrader. When you go for like 2 contracts, it's going to go for target 1 and target 2 no matter what, even if you've got all 4 of these set. If you go for 4, it's going to go for all 4 targets. If you go for 5, it's going to go for 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And the reason it does that is because it rolls. It does 1 contract, 1 contract, 1 contract, 1 contract, rolls to 1 contract again. Okay, if I had this set off like this and I had 3 targets and I did 5, it would do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So in other words, 2, 2, and 1. It rolls to the least one as it rolls. You know, and no matter how you do it, it'll do exactly the same way. If I had 7 set, it would do 3, 2, and 2, because you do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. See there? So 3, 2, and 2. Okay, and that's another important thing too. If you want to just go for scalps, like when we say we're going to scalp, you know, just set like maybe 2 targets. What I like to do personally when that happens is I like to go for like 5 with 2 of them, and then 1 of them will be 10. And that way you'll get about $200. Okay. Now one of my favorite tools, and it's not working as well on yours, but I have the version now that does work, the exit on close. All right, let's just do a little exit on close. Let's just fire an order. If it goes up through here, long, remember that's our top one, so we do this one. We can even turn these off. It doesn't really matter because it won't fire them. But if it goes 2 ticks above that line, it should fire 3 contracts. And I'll show you how to use exit on close. That should have fired my trade right then. I may have done something as far as doing some of this manipulating around. Let's see here, long outside, long enabled touch +2. Definitely should fire it. Try that. Do one tick, see if it does. If you ever run into a situation like that where I've been manipulating this data like this and you quit firing trades, do this real quickly. Click in your chart, make sure you're not in any positions on your control panel, and then hit F5 and it'll reset Object Trader. Because there are times that Ninja does something that makes it quit, and you just have to go right back in and fire the trade. And we'll go ahead and do that on touch +1. Okay, can I set a daily stop loss amount on Object Trader? I want it to stop me or alert me to stop trading if my daily stop loss is reached. Yes, absolutely, Eileen, on your question. I'll just show that. Everybody's got a few minutes. I mean, if you want, anybody needs to leave, this is being recorded. So I could sit in here talking to myself, but we got a bunch of people in the room. All right, let's say, first of all, you don't want to change this while it's in a trade, because whatever you change this to, it'll kill your trade. Okay, so let's just start it over. All right, let's say that I want to go for a max profit of, say, $400, but a max loss of no more than 3, okay, on my chart. Now, let's just make us lose $300. I'll show you how this works. I'll just pretend, let's just sell it while it's going up. Okay, as soon as that gets to $300 with a maximum drawdown, I'm going to go ahead and get that target out of the way too. This should go ahead and kill us. Of course, keep in mind the chart is at $10 profit. It's not the account. As soon as this goes to $300 max loss, it will fire that. So it's a cumulative deal. You know, we've played around with this and accumulated $10, right? Now we're -10, +20. Let's just make it go crazy. As soon as that gets to $300, it should tell you you're at your max loss. It'll also do it on your account too. So you're at 50 now. Let's just go ahead and add another contract or two. That way it'll get there quicker. Obviously you wouldn't take this trade because we're going up, but I'm trying to make it lose. There's 210, 240, 270. There you go. Just killed your trade. See, now that moved quick enough that you had a little slippage, but only one tick. Okay? That's how you use that. It'll also do the same thing. Let me just kill Sim for just 1 second so we don't have to go through all that loss to get it back. I'll just kill it. There we go. All right, let's go back into Object Trader. I'll show you how the max profit works also. Okay, let's say we set a max profit of $400. Let's do 4 contracts so we can get that quick. We'll get our targets out of the way. Everybody knows you can move these targets and everything. That's a beauty of Object Trader, is moving stops, targets, things like that. As soon as that gets to $400, it should let us keep trading, but I think it comes up with a little message over here. I'm pretty sure that's what it does. Because you don't obviously want to get out if it hits your max, except for a drawdown. You could set your drawdown at 10%. Let's do that. We'll set it at 10%. And as soon as it gets to 400, you should see a little message come up. No, it actually does stop. It does stop trading on the chart when, on the account when, that's right, on the account when it doesn't. So if I set this for like 500 on the account, then it should kill. Well, you'd have to turn this one back off though, of course. But if I set this for the account P&L of 5, it should let me trade till I get 500, but it will just come up with a message. I'll show you. As soon as it gets 500 on the P&L, it should come up with a little message. There it is, account P&L reached. See it over here on the left. But this one will let you keep trading because obviously you want to keep trading, right? What if it draws down? Let's put it at like a 10% drawdown and see what it does. So we're at 650. So if we draw down to 585, see your drawdown max is reached. It's kind of showing there because it's drawing it down because we've got 4 contracts on. So, but it doesn't make you quit trading on the full account P&L, but it's telling you your drawdown's reached, so you just simply hit close and you'd save some of your money. Okay, that was a very good question, by the way. So you can use the drawdown percentage. Actually, I wasn't using the percentage, I was using the wrong one. You'd use the percentage right here, 10%, 15%, 20, whatever. I haven't used this in quite a while. I don't really utilize it. I just watch my stuff manually. Okay, let's go over the exit on close feature. All right, let's say that we're short on this. Oh, my max is reached. See, it's not even gonna let me trade either. See there, max is reached, so you'd have to reset this to 0 to even trade again. See how that goes away? Now I can trade again. Okay, but let's say that you want to use the exit on close feature. Let's say that I got short. Now, not saying you should have here, I'm just saying that we did. All right, but let's say the trade turns around on us. Okay, you can use this as an exit on close by simply clicking this. It'll put an extra stop in. Now, this is the stop that's at your broker. This stop is not at your broker. See here where your stop is at 1165.90, which is right there. Okay, but if it closes above this one, it will fire a market order instead. Okay, but if you happen to lose internet connection, this is the stop that will get hit at your broker right here, the 1165.90. Okay, but as long as your computer's active and everything, I've got exit on close set right here, and it will exit if it closes above that. Okay, I could even turn on reverse if I want to. Reverse would mean that if it closes above here, it'll reverse 4 contracts. But yeah, it will actually close. Well, it won't close the trade that you're in, Diane, if you're using the account P&L one over here. It'll just tell you when your drawdowns are reached. We thought about that a long time, and we thought, if somebody's up like $1,000, why would they want to quit trading if they didn't hit a drawdown? So we let it just warn you. But on the chart P&L, it will kill the trade, yes. Okay, now the way I've got this set, exit on close reverse at, if that closes above that line, I should get 4 contracts long. Not just close these out, but 4 contracts long plus, what happened? Let me check here. Not sure exactly what happened there because we don't have our account P&L and everything else. Let's check that again. I've probably been manipulating this so much with SimData. Let's just check it and see. Otherwise, I may have to get a hold of my programmer before I put this out. See if that should reverse. Oh, do I have that deal turned on? If it rejects it, let me look. No, it's set to false. So that should reverse me. Hopefully it will. Been working perfectly while I've been testing it. There you go. Okay, that may have been some kind of a glitch with Ninja, who knows. All right, so that's your exit on close with a reverse. Okay, if you just want exit on close only, then if it hits this line right here, and you notice this one will follow it within 12 ticks because that's what it's defaulted at. You can change that in the strategy. But if this closes above here, it'll fire 4 market orders to the long side, which will flatten me out. If I reverse it, of course, it'll reverse it. But if I just have it set like this, it'll simply close me out. Drawdown, well, not same as trailing stops. You want to go over the trailing stops real quick and then we'll wrap? Because we're really close to covering all of Object Trader. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and show the trailing stops real quick. the trail stops, let's just go ahead and get in a trade first. All right. You got to be in, well, you want to be in a trade, obviously, to use your trail stops. And I'll get these prices out of the way. Your trail stop, and I love this feature too, you simply set it for like these little ATR type stops. All right. And you simply click trail enabled, engage trail, but you've got to hit your space bar first to let them show on your chart. Now that's your little stops there. Now if you set it and it's wrong like this, it's going to fire a market order and get you out of the trade. See, because that stop was right there. Now luckily before it closed, we got here. Okay, see that dot right there? The way that was set a minute ago, those are really tight trail stops, so that was already actually showing a little bit of a short pullback. Okay, but watch this as it goes up here. It'll continually follow the trail stops. We'll just let it go ahead and climb. See the dot right here? I'll turn off exit on close real quick, just so you can see it follow it. Not confusing that way. As soon as this pops up a little bit, your trail stop should move up with it. And once it does, your trail stop will just follow it. See there? See how the stop just pops in? And you'll notice it changes right at your broker. So your trail stop, as soon as it pops up, you'll see this change from 1164.20 to a different level. 1165.60 is where it is now. And you can disable it if you want to. That way it doesn't follow it, or you can enable it. And it should pop right to the dots. See how it just follows it? Now you do also have a trail right here, which is your swings. See this trail right here? Now I usually like to set that one with a little bit of a, let's just pretend that you got rid of 3 of these contracts, so you're riding a runner. Well, your runner, you can actually do a lot looser stop, like Charles and I do in the room even. Trail enabled on this one would be all the way down to there. And if I see a swing that's really close to it, and I know it can wick me out, I'll either turn on the exit on close, or you can offset this. Move it down like that. And then that'll trail this little swing area and just turn it back on, and your trail stop will drop right there. Like I say, some pretty cool tools. You just got to know how to use them. And the whole idea of this webinar was simply to show how you can utilize these tools in your everyday trading. And you just got to practice with it. Get good at it. Learn what each one of them means. If I've got, for instance, a trail trigger at 12, and it gets 12 ticks, it's going to go back to break even on my trade. You want to prove that, just play with it in sim even. Watch. 12 trigger. We'll just do like 3 contracts and we'll let it go 12 ticks. All right, watch that stop will jump right to break even as soon as it hits 12. $11.71.90. There's 3 more ticks. 2 more. And it popped right up to break even, didn't it? And of course, then if you happen to get taken out, you're only going to lose 1 contract at break even. You can use this if you want. I usually turn it off and just manage my stop accordingly with my little swings. Okay, does anybody have any questions on this? Because these are just simply different trail stops, and this is your target stops, your triggers, your offsets, and things like that. That's pretty explanatory on this type of thing right here. Okay, if this comes back, of course, it'll take me out. If I don't want it to just touch it and take me out, I just simply turn on my exit on close. See, then that becomes a line that has to be closed under. If I want it just to touch it, I just do it like that instead, and it'll fire when it touches it, like that. The beauty of another thing, and I think we'll wrap, that we designed Object Trader for was so that everything that I was showing you here can be done on the fly. I mean, until it gets in a trade or even after it's in a trade, you know, if I wanted to scale in, let's say that I saw this mid-band right here and I buy 3 contracts and I see this thing just start moving up. Well, guess what? I can turn on my bar close long and add 3 more, right? I can scale out if I want to by simply turning on my short bar close. I mean, all this can be done on the fly. I can move my stop. I can move my targets. You know, all this can be done while you're in a trade. And that's the beauty and power of Object Trader. Scale in, scale out, reverse, all kinds of things. What is cool of Viper Trading Systems? It is, isn't it, John? Absolutely. Okay, so one thing to do when you're just in a sim mood, turn on this feature right here, or do market replay even. Market replay is good, but I wanted to be able to manipulate the data so I could show that it would take the exact trades that Object Trader is set for, and it did. All right, but if you want to just play around with this and check things out, put it in sim mode, you know, just in this little sim data right here, simulated data feed, and play around with it, and you'll see everything should work the way it's designed. You know, scaling in, scaling out, that's super important to me. I love that. All right. Now, one thing that I didn't go over, and I'll go over it just real quick and we'll wrap, is a right-click trade. You can right-click and put a limit type order on your chart, but you can't utilize that with like bar close. Okay. It won't work. That's something we're going to add to because I want to be able to scale in this type of trade also. But right now, you can bracket just like Chart Trader. It's not as robust as Chart Trader, so I'd probably use Chart Trader if I use this one. It will be in the future. But this particular one naturally just will trade whichever one gets touched. Okay. Now, once I'm in a trade with this particular tool, though, I don't think you can actually then utilize. Let's try it. I asked him to do a couple of things, so maybe he did. Let's see if it'll do a bar close up. Add 3. Yeah, it actually did. It did the bar close. It may not do a region or something, but it looks like the bar close is independent. So that's still pretty solid. Okay. Anybody have any final questions before I wrap? This was recorded. I'll put it on the training part of the site. It was a fairly long webinar. We started at 10:05. It's almost 2 hours. And 3/4 of you stuck around. That's awesome. Okay. Any final questions before we wrap? Did you say you will send out the time regions for the next day at night, Michael? Michael, we do that to members. I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and do that to all the trials this next, all the way through next Friday. I'll just send it to everyone on your high energy times. Because when that comes out each evening, you're able to kind of set up your charts accordingly, aren't you? I mean, these are high energy times that are some pretty painstaking calculations to get those times, and they do work. You know, we've got a lot of people that trade high energy times, pit opens, and my support and resistance trades, these mid-band trades, they're super. Okay, so enjoy the tool. People that are on trial, by the way, your Object Trader will not work with your live account. It is coded to sim only. John, on your question, just give me a call on that and I'll talk to you. Okay, times on this one, no, they're Pacific. When you get this in the mail, this is, and it says on the email that they're in Pacific time. The email actually is different than this. This is where we copy and paste from. But your email always says in Pacific Daylight Time. So if you live Eastern time, of course, add 3 hours to that. I live in Oklahoma, so I add 2 hours to that. If you live overseas, whatever time it is, you'll have to figure the difference, 9 hours or whatever. Okay. All right. Any other final questions before we wrap? I think you'll find that Viper has really done a superb job of making sure that you have the proper tools. You know, we don't go into heavy auto traders and things like that anymore like the old days, because truthfully, markets change, but your eyes don't. And tonight in the webinar, we're going to talk about seeing swings and trading them. Train your eyes to see the swings. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope I went over everything the way it should be and that it was understandable. Thanks again. Have a great day, and appreciate you staying here from literally 8 o'clock to 12. That's a 4-hour webinar. Thanks. Bye now.